Word of the Day, where we break down a financial term or concept for our very smart viewer, but just maybe not the financial expert. And as you know, the hunt for holiday deals is on in the U.S. as Cyber Monday sales are reportedly expected to break records. And of course, we saw last week Black Friday shoppers storm retail stores. Wow, people were making a mad dash for stuff. The money may seem to be flying out of people's hands as they do so. It may seem to have velocity, but the actual velocity of money has been at historic lows, which is why some are warning the U.S. economy is set for another sharp slowdown, and which is why money velocity is our word of the day. So what exactly is it, and how does it work? Money velocity, let's take a look at the definition. It's the rate at which money is exchanged from one transaction to another and how much a unit of currency is used in a given period of time. So money velocity is essentially the rate at which money changes hands. But let's look at an example. Suppose in a small economy, there's a builder, a farmer, and a mechanic, and the builder pays the farmer $100 for some wheat. Then the farmer may turn around and pay $60 for some tractor maintenance, and then the mechanic may pay the builder $40 for some housing repairs. So in this case, the original $100 was used to pay for a total of $200 of goods and services by changing hands. So the velocity is 2 because $100 generated $200 worth of goods and services. So now you can see how this might generate inflation, because the more people are spending, the higher the velocity, which means more money in circulation, which can lead to price increases. Now, if these increases in price become pronounced, i.e. inflation expectations increase, then this can further increase the velocity of money, thereby creating a feedback loop, sending prices even higher. Now, we should note that some schools of thought believe money velocity causes inflation, while others think it is the result of inflation. And as Jim Rickards described in Currency Wars, money velocity is heavily influenced by psychological factors. Okay, velocity is a mirror of the consumer's confidence or fear, and it can be highly volatile. And like any psychological variable, it is not in the direct control of policymakers, of our central planning friends. So it's important to consider how economists calculate the velocity of money too, because this plays into it. Okay, they do it by taking the ratio of GDP to the M2 money supply. But let's look at some graphs so you can see. So here we have the measure of M2 since 1980. Let's take a look at that. So there you can see it's just on the up and up. But look, let's take a look at the changes of the broader measurement to the money supply of M2, because what you can see is that the increase in money supply is not necessarily predictive of the M2 velocity. So this raises questions about whether putting more money into circulation in the current environment can actually have much of an impact on the velocity. Now, the Fed has, of course, been making this effort by printing money, but it's only had a modest effect.
The velocity of money is extremely low. It's plunged. In the United States, it's at an all-time record low. In Europe, it's approaching record low. In China, even, it's approaching record low. So when the velocity of money, so the Fed's putting, or the central banks are putting out money to help grease the wheels of the economy, it's not getting traction. They got to put out twice as much just to get a little bit.
Right.
What do you know? And hey, should we even buy into the dogma that GDP over M2 is a valid measure of velocity of money? What if the money's exchanged in a way that doesn't impact the GDP? We need to keep in mind that these calculations are just surrogate markers for the rate of circulation of money, calculations that could be seriously flawed. So even with Thanksgiving shoppers shelling out for cheap gadgets faster than you can say doorbuster, adding up to 13% more in total spending than last year, according to the National Retail Federation, remember, money velocity is actually very low, and now you know why it matters.